Oracle of the Forgotten, Overheard in the Realms, Greed and Gluttony, number 1. It was never a matter of consent and choice. I held the reins. I told the truth and the lies. I kept them starving for my answers and kept them serving me, even though they had more power than my armies ever could. While it was the voice of greed, the words were spoken through the body of one of his fallen angel commanders, one who had served him faithfully through the ages. Do you think that makes you powerful? Gluttony wasn't fully interested. If anything, he felt this man was unworthy of his time. King or not, the boy had so far to go with his learning. It will with time. Greed wasn't interested in what the older sin had to say. If anything, he had come for answers. Half of his behavior was the fact that the messenger had been declined. He stepped out of the body of his commander. He fell to his knees as the soul transitioned through him like a portal. I always win, and it will grant me all I desire. It will only bring death. Gluttony shrugged, then motioned to the room around him. There were many slaves tied to the walls, their bodies and clothing torn for his amusement. Some were still suffering fresh injuries, and he had been relaxing when the younger sin had come to him. You see victory. These laws exist for a reason. You turn them against the armies to find you. Armies you could not touch. Do you think they will stop when their blades reach you? Greed laughed. They will have no choice. She is mine. Him? Just a toy she entertains herself with while in my absence. The sin was arrogantly declaring a victory. He had used the man specifically to kill the ones opposing him. The enemies of his reign had dwindled by tens of thousands after he'd taken the girl the last time. The girl herself had killed more than he had ever been aware of, though. The other lord in the room knew better than many what she was capable of. You seek manipulation through theft. Foolish at best. Gluttony's large form had begun to shrink as he slowly began to raise himself to his feet. The large creature began to appear more and more human as he took several steps towards the golden-haired man before him. They come to me willingly, take their contracts, make their arrangements. This is true power, one you hand me every time they seek my aid. That means nothing. Look at my power. I can walk through any who contracts with me. I can step out of any soul that is a part of my own. I own so many souls. The sin was certainly gloating now. He smirked slightly as he stretched a hand out to show a single image. She was far off, placed away within a tower within the darkest side of the trees. He was in another cage, placed off to the torments of the mind and soul. I give them what they want to take it away again. I control it all through my servants, and they will serve me by killing those who stand in my way. Return to talk to me when they give to you willingly. Even those here choose my lands. They choose to feed us, to take their torments here, to belong to me. Gluttony gave a dark and sinister grin. Even the ones who do not stay choose to make their deals for what they wish. You will see, true power is bringing them into your workings through their own choice. Gluttony's grin somehow became even darker. You think you hold such power, but she's never approached you willingly. She will seek me out for advice almost as often as she does wrath. It was purely to watch his reaction now. The man did the same. If anything, the human contacted him more often than the woman did. Lead them to the things they truly desire, and there is nothing, even the enemy, that could stop them. Then when she comes here, send her to me or call me. Greed was trying to keep his calm now, but it was quickly fading. I do not need your lectures, only your compliance. Gluttony could sense the shift in the man and smirked again. I make no contracts with you. She would sooner kill us all, no matter how much power we hold, and him? He would burn the universe to get what he wants. He only holds back because he feels the need to. The words settled in the air as greed took them in. No mortal has such power. Gluttony replied again. He was chosen over even the gods, over the last of the predecessors. Do you think he is powerless? He only restrains himself because he keeps thinking that his oaths matter more than his truth. He only stays still because he's punishing himself. Gluttony had determined not to stay any longer. He slowly faded from the room, disappearing entirely, while the younger Sin stared at where he was standing. Greed yelled into the emptiness where the man had stood before. You will see. The throne will choose a god like me over some mortal I can manipulate. Still, the words fell upon the slaves and servants, and a single seeker that rested upon the vaulted ceiling. Seeing no one to direct his words to, he lifted his commander from the floor and stood him up. You will send another of our servants. When we return, rebuild the prison and divide them further. I will have what's mine. Greed took hold of his commander and left again. It was clear there would be no help for him here. Not yet. In time, they would find a way to force this Sin and Wrath to comply as well. They were the last two who had held out on him.